Gem of Panem, mighty city. Welcome, everybody. I'm Connor,
And I'm Riker.
and welcome back to Deep Dive Library, where we do a deep dive on your favorite books. Last chapter was
Long.
long. Yeah, it was long, but there was a lot to kind of go over in that first chapter, more than I expected.
Yeah, because it's the introductory chapter. Now, not all first chapters are like that. Sometimes it's the second chapter that is that like introductory chapter.
Right.
Um, I can think of like two other books off the top of my head that the first chapter is like something else, and then it's like boom, you're meeting your main character.
Right.
Um, but yeah, we had a lot that we had to go over.
Mm-hmm. And before we get into today's chapter, chapter 2, which I think, honestly, if this book did chapter titles, this chapter would be called Boy with the Bread. We spend most of our time, and we'll get into this in a little bit, but we spend most of our time in that story within
Yeah.
this chapter. But before we get into everything, thank you to everybody who watched episode 1. We greatly appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying this, please continue to like and follow along with the story. Again, get your own copy of the book and go through it with us.
Yeah,
Um,
highlight everything that you think is important, and if it's something that we missed, put it in the comments and
mm-hmm.
shame us for it or whatever. Um,
Just shaming us.
well, I know someone, Duncan, who would, you know, shame us just for being us.
That's fair.
Um,
But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. So we're
well,
coming right off the heels of the great Effie Trinket in all her oh, I injured my hand, side note. Ignore this. Um
a
we're
lot
coming
can happen.
we're coming off the heels of Effie calling out Primrose Everdeen. Um and that's kind of where chapter 1 ended. So this kind of it picks up right from there, but it's weird because it's a pickup chapter, but it feels detached somehow.
I think it's because like it starts with a memory of Katniss's that like kind of ties into how she feels
That very well
about
could be.
Prem's name being called. I lost my train of thought, so you
Okay.
go.
Well, Um, yeah. The story it's short. It's talking about a time she dozed off while in a hunter's blind, waiting for game to pass by, and she fell to the ground. Now we don't know how far she fell, but she landed on her back, and she says it was as if the impact had knocked out every wisp of air from my lungs.
I don't think you can read
Mm,
because it says and fell 10 feet to the ground.
really?
Yeah, you even have it highlighted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed that.
I don't know how you missed that
Should
either,
we
but
start this over?
no, we're gonna keep that in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep it in. Um, but yeah, it was as if the impact had knocked every wisp of air from my lungs. As if the impact knocked every no, Katniss, that's just what happened.
Yeah.
I have fallen from a tree and landed on my back. I know that pain and that can't breathe. It's like it really is like your body forgot how to function.
And you don't even have to like fall from a tree. You can just like fall like a couple of feet to the ground and land on your back and it's like, "Air, come back, please."
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
it happened to me one time.
falling out of the bunk bed.
Yeah, I fell out of the out of top bunk of a bunk bed and I landed on a freshly cleaned terrazzo floor. Thankfully, I was asleep when it happened. Which you might be like, why? Thankfully, I did not panic the way I would have had I been awake. So I just climbed back into bed, went back to sleep like nothing happened. But no, I bruised my tailbone very badly.
Yeah, it was great.
Um, but she's talking about how, all the air being knocked from her body is how she feels right now. And I think that's a great comparison.
Yeah.
Um, especially like sometimes when you get news of losing somebody like in your family, like when mom called me to tell me that grandma Janet had passed. This is exactly how I felt. This is
Yeah.
exactly how I felt. So it is a very, very accurate
Yeah,
description.
that like very unexpected breathlessness.
Mm-hmm. And she goes, "This can't be happening. This must be a mistake." Katniss, it's happening. Come to terms with it. The quicker you come to terms with it, the better off she will be.
Yeah. I mean, I really appreciate like the wording in this chapter, of the like just bafflement that Katniss is going through.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, Prim was one slip of paper in thousands.
Yeah.
Her chances of being chosen so remote that I had not even bothered to worry about her. Katniss, who does everything for her sister, did not even think to worry
Mm-hmm.
about her because her name was only in there once.
And it says thousands, right? So we'll say what, 2,000 kids or 2,000 slips of paper as a nice even round number. She was one in say 2,000.
Yeah.
It was probably closer to 3 or 4 because there's a lot of people taking Tessera out to support their families.
Yeah.
But as like a nice small that's a ridiculously small chance that Prim's name got drawn.
Yeah, and it like she literally goes on to say one slip in thousands. The odds had been entirely in her favor, but it hadn't mattered.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it comes to the reaping, and I have seen like theories online that are like it had been rigged. So, Rue's name was called for 11. So we had one 12-year-old in. So to have another 12-year-old in, not expecting Katniss to volunteer to take her place.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I might have to look into that because I do like that theory. That is an interesting theory.
Yeah.
Um, but it's crazy. I mean, it wouldn't knowing what we know now about how the reapings can play out
Yeah.
due to what happens in Sunrise on the Reaping. Um, it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
and it was in light of that book and the events of that book that this theory had come to
and
be.
which is
Or at least
fair.
it was after that I saw it.
Right, and it could be very well have been in light of that book that this theory comes about. Um, and we'll get to that. We'll get to Sunrise when we get to Sunrise, but some really messed up stuff happens
Yeah.
on Reaping Day there.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, so in this next paragraph, she's like, somewhere far away, I can hear the crowd murmuring unhappily, as they always do when a 12-year-old gets chosen, because no one thinks this is fair.
because it's not.
Yeah, and that's what I have written right here. It's not. It's
Yeah,
not fair. It's not fair to any of the children, but it's like I feel like it's really unfair to the 12-year-olds. They're not even considered teenagers yet,
right.
you know?
They're. I mean, but when you look at it, they're all still children. Katniss is still a child.
Oh, for sure. I'm not
Peeta
saying she's
and
not.
Foxface and Thresh. I mean, well, Thresh, questionable. Dude's kind of big.
Well, that doesn't mean that
No,
he's not a
no,
child.
but it's still a joke. It's a joke nonetheless.
Yeah.
But these are children that they're sending to fight in an organized war. That's what the Hunger Games are. It's an organized war.
Something like that.
that these people's families are forced to watch, and in some cases, like, there are people out here, and they talk about this, I want to say later, or just in the next couple of paragraphs, um or in the next, sometime within the next few pages, people are taking bets on this.
Yeah.
Like it's a sporting event, which, I mean, in the Capitol's eyes, it's most definitely a sporting event.
Yeah.
In the and even within some of the
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 districts.
districts, like districts 1 through 4, it's
Well, 1, 2, and 4. Because District 3 is not considered a career district.
oh, well, good point, good point. Um, so 1, 2, and 4, they view this as an honor to
Yeah.
go and die, which,
Especially in 2.
by the way, a wild statement, a wild thought
But
process.
I don't think it's so much that they think it's an honor to go and die. It's they think it's an honor to go and fight and kill all these other children to prove that they are better.
Right.
There is
And
a chance that they will die,
but it's like,
and the mass majority of them will die, whether their career or not. Like, all of them except for one is going to die.
well,
Shut up. Um, so, but they think that showing their like ruthlessness and like killing, especially like within the career district
right.
specifically, you know, as a general rule, not all of them are like that. I am
No,
sure.
but Kato definitely is.
Okay, yeah, but we'll
Kato
get to
definitely.
Kato.
Yeah, we'll get to Kato. But like, how is this any way to raise your children? For it to be considered an honor to go into the arena, to volunteer in somebody's place, to go in and just slaughter children your age or in your age bracket.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like it's absolutely wild. Um, but Katniss realizes that is, walking up past her.
Yeah, she
Um,
sees the untucked little ducktail.
yeah, which I love that this is a recurring thing.
Yeah,
That this is a recurring, not only descriptor of Prim, but it's a recurring image within Katniss's mind.
yeah,
Because it goes to show just how young and naive and little that Prim is.
yeah.
Um, so she's like, Prim, and I can't do a very high pitched voice very
Yeah,
well.
I really wish you didn't do that.
But
Um,
wow, that's rude.
well, it didn't sound very well.
Well, neither did it from Katniss when her voice was hoarse because she couldn't talk because she was scared.
I mean, that's fair.
But she cries out Prim's name. Um, and I love this here. She says, "I didn't need to shove through the crowd. The other kids make way immediately, allowing me a straight path to the stage." Like, Katniss is just moving without thinking at this point. And the other kids aren't even standing in her way. They're like, "No,
No.
we need to move."
Well, I mean, and I think, she's standing in the group of like what is like 14 to 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
Um so, most of these kids have grown up with her.
Mm-hmm.
So even though she's never really been very personable um to most other people, you know, they they've seen her around, they know her, and everyone in that district knows
No,
how much she loves Prim.
and they all have a love for Prim herself. Katniss goes on to say later
Later.
on that it's hard not to love Prim.
Yeah.
Because of how sweet and how kind she is as a person.
Yeah.
And I just wrote off to the side, good people. Like, this is a terrifying day.
Yeah.
And one of the worst things that could have happened to Katniss has just happened. Like the fact that she goes on here in just a few minutes to volunteer to take her sister's place, right?
Mhm.
Um is not the worst thing that could, I mean, like it's a bad thing that's happening,
Yeah.
but the worst possible thing that didn't even recognize itself in Katniss's mind has just happened.
Yeah.
And they see that. And they're like, let's get out of the way here.
Yeah.
Um
And then she goes and she runs, she runs up, pushes Prim behind her, and she's like, "I volunteer. I volunteer as tribute." We all know that line.
yeah.
Even if you've never actually seen the movies or read the book,
You've seen it used in memes
yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's a very, very important line. This line here sets up the entire series. This is possibly one of the most important lines probably in this entire series.
Yeah.
Because had Katniss not volunteered to take her sister's place, the events the events that are to come later in this series
Mhm.
do not happen.
Yeah. Um, and then she goes on to say that like District 12 hasn't had a volunteer in decades. Uh, so the protocol has become rusty. So, and then is like in other districts, it is such a great honor. People are eager to risk their lives. The volunteering is complicated. But in District 12, where the word tribute is pretty much synonymous with the word corpse.
And I highlighted tribute and corpse,
Yeah, I know,
and
I saw
and
that.
I would say I noticed that you did as well, because really when you haven't had a victor, you've only ever had two victors in your
Yeah,
entire district's history.
yeah.
What else is it
Well,
supposed to be synonymous with?
yeah.
You know,
Um,
well, with at least history within the confines of the games.
yeah.
Let me
So,
clarify
like
that.
in 75 years or 74 years, because this is the 74th one. Excuse me. In 74 years, you've only had two.
Yeah, so like
Like,
tribute and corpse being synonymous with one another is a
mhm.
very apt thing. It's heartbreaking and horrifying, but it makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Lovely. Effie says, and I just highlighted that and I was like, eh.
Yeah, right. Like,
Like poor Effie, poor Effie. She is such a sweet person, but she is so incredibly brainwashed and naive.
right, but we don't even know her yet.
No, we don't.
No.
But you can tell that she's sweet, like
Well, you can
just
tell
from
that
her
she's.
mannerisms.
You can tell from like what we've seen of her so far that she really buys into the capitals.
Yeah, you
Like,
can buy into that. The Hunger Games are important because they are.
yeah.
Um,
Um.
I just smacked my wrist onto the counter, onto our table here, and that really hurt.
Yeah, I bet it did.
Um, what does it matter? Says the mayor. You just
Well, he says that in response to Effie being like, there is a way that these things are supposed to go.
right, and
You
I was gonna
know.
go back to that.
Okay.
Um, oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is the mayor says, "What does it matter?" in regards to Effie saying, "I believe that there's this protocol and blah blah blah," and
If one does come forth,
yeah, it's like hmm, she doesn't really know. But he goes on to say, "What does it matter?" And he's looking at Katniss with a pained expression on his face, and this isn't somebody he's interacted with a lot.
yeah,
Most of the interactions through Katniss come through
selling the
it
strawberries.
was strawberries, just interactions with his daughter in general,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, with yeah,
Um,
Madge.
so like most of his interactions with Katniss come through Madge, but he's never had a reason to doubt her in any way. He's never had a reason to dislike her in any way.
Yeah.
you know, because she's always been kind and cordial with his daughter. She brings him fresh strawberries, which he absolutely loves.
I mean, it literally says like he doesn't know me really, but there's a faint recognition there.
Right.
I'm the girl who brings the strawberries. The girl his daughter might have spoken of on occasion. The girl who 5 years ago stood huddled with her mother and sister as he presented her, the oldest child, with a medal of valor, a medal for her father vaporized in the mines. I
Vaporized is such a it's a great descriptive word, and I love the fact that it gets used here, but it is
I
so vivid.
I kind of hate just like how Katniss talks about her dad dying in the mines.
Right,
Like,
because it's not the first time.
no, like I think before when she says something about it before is like blown to bits
Yeah,
or
I
something.
think those are the
Um,
exact words. Did I highlight that by any chance?
uh, where is it? I know it's here somewhere.
Well, while you look for that, I'm gonna keep pressing forward a little bit here.
Okay.
So yeah, vapor again. The term the usage of the word vaporized is very vivid because when you think of something being vaporized, right? There's typically nothing left.
Yeah.
And although I don't doubt that, you know, when the mine exploded and the coal went up and all this horrific accident happened, I don't doubt that there was little to nothing left of Papa Everdeen, but just to sit there and go, he was vaporized, is just
Yeah. I mean,
wild.
and I can't find exactly where it
But I
is
know what you're talking about.
at the moment, but I mean, she does say there was not even enough left of him to bury.
Right.
So like
Vaporized is an over exaggeration, but
but
only by a
probably
little
not.
bit. But like
You
only by
know,
a little bit. And it's just it's yeah, it's crazy. Um let her come what does it matter? He repeated gruffly. Let her come forward. The mayor's just like just go with it.
oh
Either way this sucks.
yeah.
And that's really what his attitude towards us is. Either way it sucks. Either way we have to watch one of our own get brutally murdered.
But this is also like someone that he, peripherally knows.
And is
And
peripherally come to rely on for certain things.
yeah, and has a generally good relationship with. So it's like I think it's also because Madge and Katniss are the same age.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, this could have been my daughter. And I'm pretty sure that has happened before in other years, but especially with Katniss and Madge being friends,
Acquaintances.
he is looking at her like this could have been my child.
Right.
You know, this family has already lost so much. Not that the other families in the district haven't. They all have lost something.
Yeah.
Um, but I think with Mayor Undersea knowing Katniss in the way that he does
Mm-hmm.
is part of like what brings on like that attitude, for lack
Right.
of a better word.
Um and then this next part, it does breaks my heart.
Yeah.
It's like, no, Katniss, no, you can't go.
So I actually that's what I wrote about here in my notebook this week. Was about this bit.
And just the way, before you get into that, just
Mhm.
the way Carolyn McCormick delivers these 5, 6 words
Yeah.
is just flawless. It like you sitting there and it's almost like you're standing in the square listening to Prim scream out for her sister.
Yeah.
And it's something that was done beautifully in the movie was with this scene was the look of absolute horror and fear not only on Prim's face but in her voice. The actress who played Prim did a phenomenal job delivering this line.
Yeah.
Um
But she's like, no, Katniss, no, you can't go. And it made me wonder, like, was when Prim's name was called, was she just ready to die? Was she okay with the idea that she was going to go into this arena and die? Because it's like, I wrote, I wonder if Prim was okay with the thought of herself dying over Katniss, not just because she loves her older sister, but because she figured that Katniss and her mother had survived the death of Papa Everdeen, so they would be able to survive her death as well. But then I also went on to think, when you came in here to read, this had popped in my head. I was like, or maybe because Katniss resembles her dad so much,
mhm.
uh, Prim figured that their mom would not be able to uh, survive losing really the last piece of him that she had.
Right. Um
I mean, and we know that, like, even from what little we have of Prim here so far, from how Katniss speaks of her, that she is selfless.
mhm.
Um, she, you know, the but she's also just a kid. The first thing we see of her is her laying in bed with her mother, because she had nightmares.
Mhm.
But then the second thing is that she left a cheese for Katniss and Gale to
Right.
enjoy, you know. So she is definitely like what we get of her so far, is like she very much cares about her sister.
Right. And when we get to the point with Haymitch, I have another point to bring up about Katniss and the way she looks.
Mhm.
Um, because of her lineage, but we'll get
Mhm.
into that when we get towards Haymitch, and it will be a little bit of a foreshadow report slash spoiler alert. But I think it'll be important to kind of bring up. Um, but I don't even remember what I was gonna say in regards to this actually now.
Mhm.
Um, all right, where are we? There we are.
Oops. Spinning wheels. I don't want to roll over. Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
So going based off what you said,
Mhm.
with Prim being okay with dying, it almost makes me wonder too that because of her resemblance to her father,
Mhm.
if she knows that she'd be in trouble if Katniss died in the arena. So like, and we're gonna go on to talk about this in a few minutes, but like, her mom was basically catatonic
Right.
after her father passed.
Right.
Um, which forced Katniss to grow up at 11. And again, this is something that happens that they talk about here in just a minute. Um, but like Katniss has to then begin providing for her family, and I'm wondering if, based on what you're thinking here, right, is that if Katniss were to die in the arena, if because of those connections to her father, would that happen to her mother again? Because
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Prim is still really too young to do much outside of her cheese making and anything else
Yeah.
to
Well, I
provide for her
mean,
mother.
yeah. I mean, she technically could take up hunting. I mean,
She's
Katniss
had
was.
a little bit of experience with her sister. She talks about it in the first chapter, but she goes on to say that hunting really was not up her sister's alley.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't remember if that's in the first chapter.
I want to say it was. If
Anyway,
not,
I don't think it was, but I know what you're talking about. Um.
um, well played. So Katniss is like being rather harsh with Prim at this point. It's for a very smart reason.
Yeah.
Um, so when they televise the replay of the of the reapings tonight, everyone will make note of my tears, and I'll be marked as an easy target, a weakling. It will give I will give no one that satisfaction. And that is an incredibly smart thing
Yeah.
because when we look at later with the training scores,
Mhm.
right? And we won't go into that for quite a while.
Oh yeah, no, we have chapters and chapters to go before we get there.
Yeah, but I want to make note of it here is that with her training scores, it puts a target on her back.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it puts a massive target on her back.
Yeah. I mean,
This would have made it worse.
yeah. But I also think that like had she I'm sorry, I heard Shaggy.
Yeah. One of
Shag
our cats are at the door meowing to be let in.
Yeah. But she can't come in because she will hop up on the desk and start messing with things that she's not supposed to.
So,
So out there she shall stay.
um she's like, I'm not gonna give anybody that satisfaction. Oh my gosh, words.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that's
This book is full of them.
yeah, I think that's quite brilliant from her.
And see, then it goes on that like a Gale it comes up and grabs Prim and starts to take her
Yeah, and
away.
I highlighted that when he's like, up you go, catnip. He says in a voice he's fighting to keep steady, and I'm like, redemption moment, because
Yeah,
like
because
we talked a lot of crap on
you know
Gale in chapter 1 in episode 1.
yeah.
Um
And I was thinking, this is like one of those moments that you get of Gale that is very like
kind-hearted and
yeah,
sweet.
you can tell that he cares about Katniss and he
Yes.
doesn't like and that he also cares about Prim. He doesn't like seeing Prim upset like this.
Mm-mm. And we talked a lot. We talked a lot of crap on Gale in chapter 1. And not all of it is not all of it is unwarranted. Um
And some of it won't make sense for a couple of books.
yeah, and some of it won't make sense for a while. But these moments where we get to see the kindness of Gale are really, really important
Yeah.
because it does, like, again, we talk a lot of stuff on him, but like it's moments like this where we get to see, like you said, the how much he cares for Katniss and Prim,
Mhm.
but also his humanity in a time of hardship.
Yeah.
um so Gale is not an irredeemable person, but he does go on to make some mistakes.
Yeah. I
Um,
I honestly think that if Gale could have like after like Katniss volunteered, he'd be like, no, 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 I volunteer in your place.
yeah, if he
But
could have, I think he would have.
um,
And honestly, I would love to see like a fan written thing where it was Gale in the arena with Prim. Like a fanfic of that would be probably really, really cool.
but like for those who really like Gale, I think it'd be upsetting because he would most definitely die to protect Prim,
Yeah.
and you
But
know,
we'd get to see him. I would like to see in the arena capacity of what Gale is capable of with his traps. Because we go on later to find out that he's really, really good with traps
yeah, with snares.
and snares, and I would love to see that used in a offensive situation.
Yeah,
Um, that
there's
I think he would do
probably
well with.
there's probably something out there. You could find almost anything on the internet. So, just go on to AO3 and look it up.
Right. Um, but I do love the up you go catnip.
Yeah.
Um, Lion and
I think. Nope,
Effie,
never mind.
Effie.
Yeah.
Well, bravo, gushes Effie. That's the spirit of the games, and I highlighted that line. That's the spirit of the games, and I'm like naive,
Well, I
and
don't think it's so much
but also
naivete, but uh,
just also
again,
not really. The spirit of the games is to murder children for the sake of the capital's enjoyment.
right,
Um,
but like she then goes on, and, asks what her name is, and
mhm.
Katniss tells her name, and then she's like, "I bet my buttons that was your sister. Don't want her to steal all the glory, do we?"
No, that is not at all it. And I don't know why I didn't highlight that because I did make a
Mm.
mental note
I
of
didn't
that
highlight it
line.
either, but I have that lockdown
Mm.
because I love the way Carolyn reads it. I bet my buttons that's your sister. Don't want her to have all the glory, do we?
Right. And there will be a lot of that with like Carolyn McCormick's voices throughout this
Yeah.
because she reads this book so
Oh,
brilliantly.
so good.
Um, but it's like no, she just doesn't want her sister to die.
Yeah.
That's why she did what she did.
I'm surprised that you don't have this next bit highlighted.
The to the everlasting credit of the people of District. Well, leading into that, Effie says, "Come on, everybody, let's give a big round of applause to our newest tribute." Trills Effie Trinket, and it goes on to say, and I made a mental note of this as well. It says, "To the everlasting credit of the people of District 12, not one person claps, not even the ones holding betting slips." Again, there goes another mention of betting. The ones who are usually beyond caring, possibly because they know me from the Hob, or they knew my father, or have encountered Prim, who no one can help but loving. So instead of acknowledging applause, I um
I stand there unmoving while they take part in the boldest form of dissent they can manage, silence, which says, "We do not agree. We do not condone. All of this is wrong."
and then in the follow-up chapter, and this is kind of all like
Paragraph.
yeah, in the next paragraph. This is all kind of I culminate this all to one kind of experience moment as all part of the same moment legitimately,
Hmm.
but I picture this all happening almost simultaneously
Yeah,
in my
well,
brain. She's like something unexpected happens. At least I don't expect it because I don't think of District 12 as a place that cares about me. But a shift has occurred since I stepped up to take Prim's place. Now, it seems I have become someone precious. At first one, then another, then almost every member of the crowd touches the three middle fingers of their left hand to their lips and holds it out to me. It is an old and rarely used gesture of our district, occasionally seen at funerals. It means thanks, it means admiration, it means goodbye to someone you love. And this is powerful
yeah.
because this is
You're
what
giving goosebumps.
yeah, like no, like I honestly have goosebumps as
And I've read
well.
this book a million times.
Right. And I haven't read it as many times as you have, but
You'll
seeing
never catch
these
up.
words. Sitting here seeing these words, and just picturing that. I can't really do it right now with my left hand because again, I'm a little trapped, so I'll do my best, like mwah.
Not that.
But
They don't
say,
kiss their fingers; they touch their fingers to their mouth.
this is a salute to one's lost, is what it's more used as. Because she goes on to say it's often seen at funerals.
Well, it's a way to say goodbye.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just this moment is powerful because this becomes, and this is a spoiler alert, foreshadow report, but this becomes the salute of the rebellion. This is setting up. This chapter sets up so much for the rest of this series, or for the rest of the main three, I should say.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Of the original three, this chapter sets up so much in terms of that, and it's by little things like this. What are you laughing at me for?
I'm not laughing at you.
Are you thinking the same thing I'm thinking? You're smiling because of it?
And then it goes on to say, now I'm truly in danger of crying, but fortunately, Hammond chooses this time to come staggering across the stage to congratulate me. Look at her!
Look at this one! He hollers, throwing an arm around my shoulders. He's surprisingly strong for such a wreck, which, savage.
Right.
I like her. His breath reeks of liquor, and it's been a long time since he's bathed.
Lots of
spunk. He says triumphantly, "More than you." He releases me and starts for the front of the stage. More than you, he shouts, pointing directly into a camera.
Is he addressing the audience, or is he so drunk that he might actually be taunting the Capitol?
And I highlighted that and I said, yes, that's exactly what he's doing, because you find out later why.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what Haymitch is doing in this moment. I think
just the thought that, like, Haymitch has gone through a games and has won, is reason enough.
Right.
But it's like, I'll never know, because just as he's opening his mouth to continue, Haymitch plummets off the stage and knocks himself unconscious.
And I highlighted this and I wrote next to it, why is it not in the movie?
Oh, I agree.
And
I just highlighted this whole little bit. That's what these lines are, is like in between these. They're my brackets.
That's fair. I'm gonna have to start using that.
Yes, it saves ink.
That's fair. But this is such a great moment within this dark scene, because it adds a sense of levity to it.
Oh yeah, drunk Haymitch, coming and being, I like her, and then.
Yeah, like, and it's funny because, like, I can see Woody Harrelson. I almost lost his name for a second. I can see Woody Harrelson in my head just nosediving off this stage, right? And it's not in the movie, and that saddens me, because I think it would have been great for this point again, because it's a great point of levity within the story.
Yeah.
Because up until this point, it's been rather dark.
Yeah.
At least within the last half of chapter 1 and through this portion of chapter 2.
Yeah.
It's been rather dark. Katniss goes on to say, goes on to think, he's disgusting, but I'm grateful. Which I just highlighted and wrote lol over top of it, because that's savage and hilarious.
Oh,
he's disgusting, but I'm grateful. Like, But
it gives her the moment to, like, cry just a little bit.
Yeah, just to have. She gives her a moment to have a break.
Yeah, and fix her face before the. Ooh. Sorry. Before the cameras are faced on her again.
Mm-hmm. She goes back to think about leaving the district and whatnot. And she goes, I was right not to run off, because who else would have volunteered for Prim?
Yeah.
And I don't think it would have mattered. Had Katniss and Gale run off right then, both of their families would have been arrested and probably killed.
Oh,
The
probably.
Peacekeepers, and I wrote that, the
Um.
Peacekeepers probably would have killed Prim and her mother, and then oppositely, Gale's family
Yeah.
would have been
Who you
imprisoned.
can't remember their names, can you?
No.
It's Vic, Rory, and Posey are
Yeah.
his siblings.
And then the mom's name is. It's something pretty. I know that, but I cannot remember what the heck her name is.
Hazel.
Yeah, there we go.
But
My
I
brain was
also don't
saying
think
Hazel.
I don't think you find out the names of them until the second book. So sorry, that's a bit of a spoiler.
Haymitch is whisked away on a stretcher, and Effie Trinket trying to get the ball rolling again. What an exciting day! And I said, "Oh, Effie."
Yeah. And then I love like she's like walking over to the boys' ball and is like got her
Got her
hand on her hair trying to
yeah.
keep it all like in place or
Because
whatever.
she has had no time to fix it since her encounter with Haymitch.
No, there's no stopping. There's just continuous rolling.
Yeah, like this is all happening so quickly.
Yeah.
Like this is it's only been maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Like it has not been long.
Yeah.
And then she goes over, pulls a slip out of the boys' bowl, walks back to the podium. Katniss says, "I don't even have time to wish for Gale's safety." When she's reading the name Peeta Mellark.
Peeta Mellark? Oh no, I think. Not him. Because I recognize this name, although I've never spoken directly to its owner.
Mm-hmm.
Peeta Mellark. It's like,
The
damn.
odds
It's like
the odds are not in my favor today. I highlighted that and I'm like, rude?
Well, it's also like yeah,
Like
your
this boy's
sister's name was called. Clearly the odds are not in your favor today.
But like you sit there and say, "Oh no, not him. The odds are not in my favor." Like Katniss, this boy is going to go into the arena and possibly die right alongside you, and
You're like, I don't know.
you're gonna be like this. And here's where we get into why I think if this book had chapter titles,
Well, hold on.
it would be called The Boy with the Bread.
Before we get to that, because that's flip the page, go over there.
Yeah, but I mean, it starts here.
I like as she makes note of like the shock of the moment is registering on his face, and you can see his struggle to remain emotionless, but his blue eyes show the alarm I've seen so often in Prey. And it's like, is she already moments after his name being called viewing him as prey?
Could be. I think it more along the lines of he's got that same dazed look that a deer or a wild dog would have, in that, well, maybe not a wild dog, but like a deer would have.
Deer in the headlights kind
Yeah,
of look.
like because it's very reminiscent of that. So I don't think
Yeah.
she's immediately viewing him as prey, and I could be completely wrong.
Well, it's just like, and I get the fact that like she is a hunter, that is what she is like in her blood, like that she is
Right.
a hunter, but the fact that it's like, I understand not using the like deer in the headlights as like the exact wording, because probably hasn't seen a whole lot of deer in headlights.
Right. There's not really cars where they're from, so
Yeah. So, but like the fact that like
I think
she
the only one in
immediately
District
like
12 with a car is the mayor.
probably.
So
I mean, the peacekeepers probably have access to
vehicles,
vehicles,
but they mostly go on foot.
um, but it's also a small district,
Yeah.
so like it probably doesn't take very long to cross from one end of the district to the other.
No, I think
not in the way it would like.
I think in in Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, it's mentioned that it takes about 30 minutes to get from one side to the other.
I don't know. It's
It's
been not that long since I read that book, but long enough.
right.
And I've only read that one twice.
Yeah, I've only read it once, but I think that is mentioned. We do get a
Yeah.
general idea of how long it takes.
But even if it takes an hour to get from one end of the district to the other, that's still not a
No,
long
that can't
time.
be more than. It can't really be more than what, a mile and a half across,
Yeah.
or two
Well,
miles, two and a half miles,
yeah,
give or take.
like 2.5 miles. Because I think the average person can walk a mile in 20 minutes.
Maybe.
Anyway, it's not a big district.
No. Effie asks for volunteers, but no one steps forward. He has two brothers. I know. I've seen them in the bakery, but no one, but one is probably too old now to volunteer and the other won't. This is the standard. Family devotion only goes so far for most people on reaping day. I said odd but fair.
Yeah.
Cuz it's sad to think, but at the same time it is kind of fair. Like, you don't want to go in the arena, but neither does your older brother or your little sister or your
Right.
cousin. Like, it makes sense, but it is sad.
Yeah. I mean, and then she points out that, like, what she did was the radical thing. Like,
Right.
I have a feeling that the last time that someone volunteered in District 12 was probably a similar situation where they were trying to uh, protect like a younger sibling.
Yeah, and I
Um,
don't think we ever get information on that either.
no, we don't. But I can like see that being the case. But also, uh, like if that were the case, like an older sibling volunteering for their younger sibling, then they die in the arena. We know they die because they're not Hamish.
Right.
And or the first victor. Um
Who's been all but wiped from existence.
um
Anyway.
yeah, I don't remember what I was saying. That was very rude of you to interrupt me like that. I was really hoping that like punching you in the face was gonna make me remember, but
That's fair.
it didn't. What was I saying? Oh, that's what I was going to say. I wonder if then like they die in the arena, and then the next year that sibling gets reaped again.
Oh, that would be rough for that family.
Yeah, the odds are definitely not in their favor.
No. The mayor begins to read the long, dull treaty of treason, as he does every year at this point. It's required. But I'm not willing to listen to a word. Why him, I think. So
It does
Katniss
not say I'm not willing to listen to a word, but I'm not listening to a word.
was still
I
like,
mean, at this point, probably no
she's
one is
not
willing to listen because by the time they're old enough to even be part of the reaping, they probably got it memorized.
memorized. Um but like, this whole treaty of treason thing, and I think we get some more information on it later, but it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um Katniss becomes kind of Katniss is kind of selfish, and understandably, with everything that she's been through,
Mhm.
I understand why.
Mhm.
Um but she's like, why him? Then I try to convince myself it doesn't matter. Peta and I aren't friends, not even neighbors. We don't speak. Our only real interaction happened years ago. He's probably forgotten it. I highlighted that and I wrote under it, no. Or I wrote nope.
I would
Because
have
he, in fact, has
highlighted it
not.
and would have been like, "You wish."
Um,
We're gonna keep doing that, guys. Just
yep,
get
it's
used to
gonna
it.
happen a lot.
Yep.
But we get into the what is known within the, I guess, fandom of the Hunger Games as the boy with the bread story. Um,
I don't even think it's just known within the fandom. That's just what it's known within, like, the books itself.
is it okay? Um, but it talks. This goes
Because
into
I mean, she constantly goes forward to call him the boy with bread, so it's just
right. I just mean like the story itself.
yeah,
Um, but this goes back 5 years. Katniss
yeah,
is 16, yeah? Okay.
yeah,
So this goes back 5 years to just after her father had died. Um, and like this she words it she it's so nice here, right?
yeah.
My father had been killed in the mine incident 3 months earlier.
Accident. He can't read, guys. I'm so
I'm
sorry about him.
dyslexic, okay?
So am I.
Um,
I have this book memorized. So
yeah. Um, 3 months earlier in the bitterest January anyone could remember. So this goes back quite a ways. You know, the numbness of his loss
the
had
numbness.
passed, and the pain would hit me out of nowhere, doubling me over, racking my body with sobs. Where are you? I would cry out in my mind. Where have you gone? Of course, there was never any answer. And this is like heartbreaking to think of
11
any
year old
well,
Katniss.
well not even just 11-year-old Katniss, but anybody
Yeah.
going through something like this where it was just so sudden and tragic, and there was no there was no rhyme or reason or understanding behind it. It just happened,
Yeah.
you know. And I can kind of relate to this in a way. Again, going back to Grandma Janet, it's like it came out of nowhere. There was no
Yeah.
rhyme or reason. It just happened. Um,
Sorry. I'm trying. Your words made a song pop in my head,
oh, okay.
and I'm trying really hard not to just, like, break out in a song.
Yeah,
It's very
especially at this
difficult.
moment because it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Um,
She goes on to say that the district, like, gave them a small amount of money as compensation for her father's death, uh, and it was only enough to cover a month of grieving, at which time her mother would have been expected to get a job.
which I know that like District 12 is notoriously broke,
Yeah.
right? Like they dirt poor, they coal poor, as we could put it for them. Um, sorry.
You will be later.
But is that all he's worth? In their eyes, is a month's worth of money to deal with the grieving process?
Right?
Like,
I mean, but it's not even like it's the district like being like, here you go, because like Mayor Undersea was the mayor at the time.
right.
So, he probably, held more value his onto Papa Everdean's life, but the capital, on the other hand,
Doesn't
doesn't
care
care.
just at all.
No.
It's ooh.
Mhm.
It's mind-boggling. And I say that, right? They get a month worth of pay.
Mhm.
But when you look at like grievance, not grievance, what's the word? Bereavement
Mhm.
in
Today,
reality, it's 2 weeks most
at
of the
most.
time. Like, and that's if you work for a really good company.
Yeah.
Like when we lost grandma, I got 2 weeks off of work for that. So like that compared to this is a little like I don't want to even say better because it just
It
it
like it's shitty all the way around, but like realistically, the month versus the 2 weeks that you're likely to get at best for most places, like 2 days to 3 days
is pretty
at
standard. Yeah, it's significant.
a whole month is nice.
Yeah, a whole month of pay would be huge. Now, I don't want to lose anybody to get it,
No,
and I'll
but
just work to earn that money.
volunteers. No.
But she continues to say, where is it?
Only she didn't.
Yeah, only she didn't. Thank you.
Hmm.
She didn't do anything but sit propped up in a chair, or more often huddled under the blankets on her bed, eyes fixed on some point in the distance. Once in a while, she'd stir and get up as if moved by some urgent purpose, only to then collapse back into stillness. No amount of pleading from Prim seemed to affect her. I was terrified, I suppose now, that my mother was locked in some dark world of sadness. And I highlighted that sentence and I said, yeah, it's called depression.
Right,
And
but Katniss didn't
no, no, no,
have
no,
that,
no,
and
no.
I do believe that they go on eventually to actually like say like in the next book, I think, to say that like what she was dealing with was depression.
Right. But you've got, and I understand that you've been with, they have been together for probably years and years at this point.
Mhm.
Um, and that was the love of her life. That
Mhm.
was, her one and only, her,
Mhm.
star in the night sky, however you want to look at it.
Mhm.
She loved her husband
Mhm.
so much that it almost killed her
Mhm.
when he died. But you had two kids to take care of.
Right, but you like depression, it doesn't matter what you've got going on in
Right,
your
I
life.
understand that, but I'm wondering if there was something, if those moments of movement and clarity that she had were like almost like her husband trying to like, hey, we have kids, we have kids, we have kids. Like if he was trying to communicate with her somehow,
I mean,
and then as
maybe.
soon as it came, it was gone. That was a crisp snap. Um,
I
it
mean,
just it breaks my heart because as somebody who deals with a form of depression, there are days where I don't want to get out of bed, and I don't get out of bed unless I absolutely have to.
yeah.
AKA some days where I have to go to work.
Yeah.
So I understand it, maybe not to that degree of losing the love of my life, but I can, in a semblance, relate to that.
Yeah. And like, yeah, they've got kids that are her responsibility, and she definitely loves her children.
Oh, there's no doubt
Um,
about that.
but when you are just like that in over your head, like you can't see more than like a foot in front of you.
Right. I'm it. Ooh. She's the
Yeah.
person that
Mhm.
the rest of the district would have taken their family members to in an instance like this, when they're racked with severe depression,
Yeah.
immobilizing depression.
But that's one of the things is like she didn't have a her.
No, and I think that's part of what made this so much worse
Mhm.
is the fact that she didn't have a her, because there aren't many doctors in the district, and those that are there,
Aren't really like accessible to the members of the district.
yeah, and even more so to the citizens of the scene,
Yeah.
you know?
Unless they've been in some horrific mine accident.
Right, and
And
in which
then
case they were brought to her anyway,
well, yeah.
at least to make them comfortable in a lot of cases.
Yeah. Um
But at the time, and Katniss goes on to say, but at the time, all I knew was that I had lost not only my father, but my mother as well.
Yeah.
At 11 years old, with Prim just 7, I took over as head of the family, which remains the same even up to this point. Like,
Yeah.
Katniss Katniss's mother is now healthy and moving about and doing things again.
Yeah.
She's reopened her little apothecary business that she does on the side, and she's doing quite well for herself now.
Yeah.
But Katniss is still the head of the family.
Yeah.
Like, Katniss doesn't might not bring in much money, but she is the breadwinner for the house.
Yeah.
Which is a book we might have to cover. That is an incredible novel. The Breadwinner.
Oh, I've never read that.
Great book. Let's see, where were we?
There was no choice.
There was no choice, yeah. So, you know, Katniss bought the food at the market, came home, would cook it to the best of her ability.
She is 11 and probably didn't have much cooking experience before her
And
father's death.
also, assuming they have some form of like a wood burning or coal burning stove, probably not tall enough to really get to the stove very well.
Yeah.
Because
stand on a chair
or something to cook. Yeah, but so
Yeah.
she did the best she could. And she did this because if it had she not, the likelihood of them going to the community home, which she goes on to say, like, the kids there do not look happy, they do not look well fed, they, there's
Well,
a
it's like where is it?
Where-
I'd grown up seeing those home kids at school. The sadness, the marks of angry hands on their face, the hopelessness that curls their shoulders forward. I
that's
could
the line I was
never
looking
let that
for.
happen to Prim.
Yeah, like from the get go, it's always been about Prim.
Yeah.
Everything Katniss
Well, I mean, it's
does
like
is for Prim.
in the previous chapter when her and Gail are talking about the running away, she's like, "How could I leave Prim, the only person that I am certain that I love?"
Right. Everything is about Prim. Tiny Prim, who cried when I cried, even before she knew the reason, who brushed and plaited my mother's hair. I almost said plaited.
Me too.
Before we left school or
Left
for
for
school, who still polished my father's shaving mirror each night because he hated the layer of coal dust that settled on everything in the scene. The community home would crush her like a bug, so I kept our predicament a secret. In that line, the community home would have crushed her like a bug.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Katniss would have been there with her. Katniss
Yeah.
could have protected her and would
Right.
have protected her.
But there's only so much. I mean, we keep seeing again and again and again that there is only so much Katniss can do to protect her sister.
Right. What was I about to say?
Sorry.
Yeah, her resources as to what she can do are limited. She can
hurts.
bring in food.
Yeah.
She can keep them fed.
Mm-hmm.
She can keep her sister happy in little ways, and that's really all she can do.
Right. But honestly, even at this point, like who's to say that she would have been able to keep Prim fed, if she went into the community home?
Right.
Like there's
It would have been significantly stricter, I assume. Yeah,
well, probably.
wouldn't have
I
been
mean,
able
with
to hunt.
the fact that she says that the marks of angry hands on their faces, shows that these kids were being physically abused
in some manner.
Yeah. But
and in any manner, a child being physically abused is not okay.
No, well, or mentally abused, just abuse. It's not good.
Right.
Don't do it.
So Katniss is like, but the money ran out, and we were slowly starving to death.
As one does.
Yeah.
When you don't have money to buy food.
Right. I could not own. If only I could hold out until May, just May 8th, I would turn 12 years old and be able to sign up for Tessera and get that precious grain and oil to feed us. There were only several weeks to go.
Only there were several weeks to go.
Yeah.
We could well be dead by then.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
because this is in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
It's
I
cold. It's
mean,
raining.
she said that her father died in January.
Yeah,
Yes. So 3 months later, it's March.
March.
So or April, the beginning of April.
Yeah, I would say beginning of
So
April.
there are still several weeks to go until her birthday. They very well could be dead by then
Yeah.
because, like, where are they gonna get the food from?
Mm-hmm. And she says that we very well could be dead by then.
Yeah.
Starvation is not uncommon, and this is sad.
Yeah.
Um, this is a bit of a larger passage, but it says starvation is not an uncommon fate in District 12. Who hasn't seen the victims? Older people who can't work, children from a family with too many to feed, those injured in the mines, straggling through the streets, and one day you come upon them sitting motionless against a wall or lying in the meadow. You hear the wails
Whales.
from a house, and the peacekeepers are
Mm.
called.
Sorry.
The peacekeepers are called to retrieve the body. Starvation is never the cause of death officially. It's always the flu, or exposure, or pneumonia. But that fools no one.
Yeah.
And I want to say something, but I'm going to keep that thought process to myself because it's a little bit more political, and I don't want to go in that
Yeah, we're
direction with it.
we're not politics.
Um,
We are books.
yes, but also it
Well, I
just
mean, books are inherently political, but that's not the point.
right.
But I will, you keep your thought to yourself if you would like, but I'm going to share my thought, which probably is nowhere near yours because I can't even begin to imagine what your thought is.
It's nothing
Um,
bad or
but
anything.
I just can't begin to imagine it.
That's fair.
Um, I'm sorry, I'm stupid.
We're in no
Um,
what ways professionals, guys. We're just two goofballs having fun.
yeah, tired ones at that. Um, but like the fact that it says that starvation is never the cause of death officially.
Mm,
It's like they're unwilling to, you know, the flu or exposure and pneumonia, or other things are probably it didn't help, you know, keep them alive,
right.
but
Mhm. It could have been
th-
helped if they had food.
they wouldn't have dealt with all of these things had they been properly fed. Um, and the Capitol knows that,
Mm-hmm.
but they also don't want it on record. Hey, we are starving the districts. They Everyone knows it, but they don't want it on record. So on record, it is other things
Yep.
like
It's
pneumonia.
yeah, it's genuinely it's sad to see. And it leads the question is it this way in the other districts as well? If somebody dies because of starvation. Now, like, again, 12 is the poorest, but they have the least amount of resources compared to anyone else. But it's not the only cases we see of hungry kids, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, are they using those same excuses in other places, say places that
Excuse me.
have warmer climate or whatever, like,
Yeah.
that don't get as cold in the winter
Yeah.
as District 12 does? It's just it's just a question. It's a thought process there.
Yeah. She goes on to say that when she uh on the afternoon of when she first encounters PETA, uh that it had been pouring like relentless icy sheets. And she had been trying to sell some old baby clothes of Prim's
Hmm.
in the public market, but nobody wanted those clothes. Um and though she had gone to the Hob with her father, she hadn't been there since he died.
Right.
Um, so she was just too afraid to go into
Sorry.
uh that rough place. Um, but she's walking through this rain and she is soaked, wearing her father's hunting jacket, chilled to the bone. Uh, for 3 days, we had nothing but boiled water with some old dried mint leaves I found in the back of the cupboard,
By
which
the
is
way,
not filling.
very nutritious.
Oh yeah,
Just
just
so nutritious. I mean, actually,
yeah,
mint is really good for you.
right. I
Um,
mean, but
but
and mint tea is great.
and mint
However,
can help stave off feelings of hunger,
right.
but not for 3 days.
No. And you know, the body it needs
Sustenance.
more than that,
Yeah.
but and then she's like, by the time the market closed, I was shaking so hard I dropped my bundle of baby clothes in a mud puddle. I didn't pick it up for fear I would keel over and be unable to regain my feet. Besides, no one wanted those clothes.
Right.
And it's just like, that's rough, buddy.
And I
But like,
guarantee you, had she walked, if she had she gone into the hob
mhm,
with those clothes,
mhm,
doesn't matter who the merchant was, they would have seen Katniss. They would have thought of her father. They would have bought those clothes.
maybe.
I can almost guarantee it. I think out of respect for Katniss's father, they would have bought those clothes so Katniss could get food for her family.
I mean, there
Or
there is the
also they
like,
could have just they that or they would have just bought food or given food to her
yeah.
to give to her
I mean,
family.
who's to say that like had she gone in the hob, Greasy Say wouldn't have just like given her a bowl of stew or something,
Yeah, because
you know?
it's wild dog, but once it's in the soup, we'll call it beef.
Yeah,
You know?
and no one will turn up their nose at a leg of wild dog,
Yeah, because it's fresh meat.
Doggy. I'm sorry.
Besides, no
Um,
one wanted those clothes. I couldn't go home because at home was my mother with her dead eyes and my little sister with her hollow cheeks and cracked lips.
and just sitting there, like picturing her mom just sitting there hollow-eyed is a lot easier than seeing like hollow-cheeked Prim with her cracked lips and she desperately needs some chapstick. Um,
Oh boy.
don't worry about that. It's an inside joke.
Yeah.
You know, and just like she's 7, she's so tiny. She's tiny at 12, so she's even tinier at 7 with the
Right.
fact that she has not been eating properly for a while now.
Right.
So and like Candace says that like they were given enough money to cover 1 month like worth of grieving. I
Mhm.
can guarantee that she stretched that money literally as far as it could go.
Mhm.
So like we are like probably like 6 weeks away from her
That's
birthday.
yeah.
Um and
It's just
is
recently ran out, like
well I
within the
well
last maybe week or so.
probably a little longer than that. The money ran out longer than that, but the food, she's also stretching the food as far as it can
Mhm.
go. Um, and though her mom's not doing anything, she's still making sure her mom is fed
Right.
because though
She still
she
needs her mother,
yeah, because even though she feels like she's lost her mom, she doesn't want to actually
actually.
lose her mom. Oh, sorry, I looked up and I can see your highlighter here and
Oh yeah.
it's a green
I'm gonna say I've been
highlighter.
using a green highlighter, so
So
it
it
just
was just like
like
this like
here it
dot.
completely disappears.
It's like, are you even holding anything? And
Um. Anyway, that
yeah,
aside,
sorry. It's like I just see this like little orange dot and it's like
Oh yeah, I see. Where were we? Okay, so
um
Katniss is just kind of struggling at this
oh
point,
yeah,
and she's like,
like
"Well,
big struggle.
well, stealing's forbidden in all forms in District 12, which is punishable by death in their district.
Mm. I don't know. I think if I was
But
that
trash is
hungry,
okay."
yeah,
Which I
you
mean, like
know,
it's fair. Like if it's thrown out, is it really stealing?
no,
You know, and
and that's how
especially
she can
get
get
away
away
with
with
it.
it.
But
Um,
unfortunately for her, everything had just been emptied.
well, like yes, that, but like the line here, perhaps a bone at the butcher's or rotted vegetables at the grocer's, something no one but my family was desperate enough to eat.
Yeah, but I mean, like the bone. Really, had she gotten like a good bone from the butcher, she could have turned that into a stock, and that would have been nutritious. She could have boiled that down and done something with. I mean, she wouldn't have been able to season it in any way, but that alone, that bone broth would have been something substantial to
Yeah.
put in their stomachs, which would have been significantly helpful.
Right, and
The
we see
rotted
that.
vegetables would have helped a little bit, but like once they're rotted, their nutritional value basically goes out the window.
eh, um, but I mean, and with the broth, we see that like, and we've both like worked in medical kitchens.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if someone isn't able to like keep down food,
Mm-hmm.
you give them broth.
Yeah,
You
because
know.
there's still nutritional value to it, but it is significantly lighter on the stomach.
Yeah.
And the
I
fact that they
mean,
haven't eaten in 3 days, I don't think a hearty meal would have been great for them there.
oh, probably not. Um.
Just due to, grease or fat or,
Well,
whatever.
even like I think it's just like her stomach went from being this big with the food, and then the food ran out, and it's like,
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
hey,
Right.
um, so you know,
Yeah, but
uh,
unfortunately, the bins had just been emptied. When I passed the baker's, so she's along the backside of all these shops because
yeah,
that's where the trash cans are.
yeah, she's like, she even like says that like she's walking behind these businesses, and since the merchants live above the businesses, she's essentially just walking through their backyards.
Yeah, but she got a smell of fresh bread that was so overwhelming, the smell made her dizzy. The ovens were in the back, and a golden glow spilled out of the open kitchen door. I stood memorized by the heat and the luscious scent until the rain interfered, running its icy fingers down my back. And I
Are
love
you
that
sure that
line.
she didn't stand mesmerized?
What did I say?
Memorized?
Memorized?
Got it memorized?
I didn't
Yeah,
even notice it,
I did.
honestly. And again, the dyslexia is strong with this one. Ow. The icy fingers running its ooh, the rain running its icy fingers down my back is a great line because we've all been in ice cold rain, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
exactly what it feels like, is just ice cold fingers running
Well,
down your back.
even if you haven't been in ice cold rain, we've all been standing in the wrong spot in the shower when you turn it on, and it pushes all the cold water out before it gets to the hot water, and it's like,
Right. Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Let's see here. Forcing me back to life, I lifted the lid to the baker's trash bin and found it spotlessly, heartlessly bare. Suddenly, a voice was screaming at me, and I looked up to see the baker's wife telling to me, this woman, we'll get to that in a second, hold on. The baker's wife telling me to move on, and did I want her to call the peacekeepers, and how sick she was of having those brats from the seam pawing through her trash. The words were ugly, and I had no defense.
So I wonder if she used to be Seam.
It's very possible.
I mean, like she very well could have previously, like, been born into the scene, but married the baker.
Married up
Um,
in status, we'll
yeah,
call
and
it,
now she's all hoity-toity.
because she made it out. Hoity-toity. It's such a
It's such a
fun
fun
thing to
word to
say.
say.
Because,
Um,
like, adversely, and again, in status, Katniss's mom married down in status. She
yeah,
was of merchant class, but she married seam class as well. And I put air quotes around that because no one is better than anybody.
no,
But
but
in the terms of this,
they
we
definitely have more money and more food and
right
more.
liberties of things that they have access to.
Yeah,
And Katniss's mom was like, "I don't care about the money. I love this man. I'm going to marry him regardless of whatever." And I
yeah.
love that.
Um, but so I don't know if you remember. Um, I had said in the first episode, or I asked really in the first episode if um there was like why they didn't keep with the apothecary business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, once she and Papa Everdeen got married. Um, but I think here with the fact that the merchants live above the business,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it very well could just they got it when they got married. They got a house of their own, and it's not like they were just gonna be like, all right, you guys get out.
Grandma and Grandpa Everdeen, time to hit the road.
Not Grandma and Grandpa Everdeen, because Everdeen is his last name. So whatever her last name is.
Good point. But still, you know, it's it,
It's like, yeah, you guys take the house, and good luck figuring out what to do. We're going to take this house and the business.
start working in the mines. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
like a horrible thing to do.
yeah.
So Katniss puts the lid back on the trash can, backs away, and notices a
I'm
boy
tired.
with blonde hair piercing,
Piercing.
peering out from behind his mother's back.
Do we need to take a break?
I'm okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Because you keep messing up these words. I feel like we need to. Uh,
Part of it is I need a new prescription,
well, that's fair.
and I don't have the money to do that right now.
I thought you were gonna say part of it is I need a nap, which fair,
No,
same.
I'm okay.
Are you sure? Because
Yeah.
I am tired. I did not get much sleep last night. Somebody had to go to the hospital.
Oh yeah, that'd be me. Um,
The
where were
hair on
we?
my
So
neck.
he's stuck. So Katniss.
Sees Peeta peeking out from behind his mom. And I didn't turn my page, so I was confused at where I was.
She'd
Um,
seen him at school, and knew that he was in her year, but didn't know him because he's stuck with the town kids, the merchant kids. So how would so how would I?
so how would you what?
Oh, How would she know his name? There we go.
Yeah.
My brain was glitching there for a second. His mother went back into the bakery, grumbling that he must have been watching.
What? His mother went back into the bakery, grumbling, but he must have been watching me as I made my way behind the pen that held their pig and leaned against the far side of an old apple tree. The realization that I had nothing to take home had finally sunk in. My knees buckled, and I slid down the trunk of the tree to its roots. It was too much. I was too sick and weak and tired. Oh, so tired. Let them call the peacekeepers and take us to the community home, I thought. Or better yet, let me die right here in the rain. Okay, but
I highlighted this and I'm like, that's a lot for an 11-year-old.
yeah. But it's also like had she died right there in the rain, who would have taken care of Prim? Because her mom was catatonic,
Yeah.
you know? Um, and I think that's why, even if she really, in that moment, wanted to just sit down and die, it wouldn't have happened. Because if she had, there would have been no one to take care of Prim.
Right. So suddenly Katniss hears a clatter in the bakery behind her and heard the woman screaming again and the sound of a blow. And I vaguely wondered what was going on, she says. Feet sloshed towards me through the mud, and I thought, it's her. She's coming to drive me away with a stick. But it wasn't her. It was the boy. In his arms, he carried 2 large loaves of bread that must have fallen into the fire because the crusts were scorched black. Did I misread another word?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
it's the fact that it was like his mother was yelling, "Feed it to the pigs, you stupid creature. Why not? No one decent will buy burned bread." Like,
Yeah, and that I highlighted that and I just wrote, "What a bitch."
yeah,
And like
because
we
it's
don't
like
we don't swear a whole lot here, or we try not to. But there are times where
we might not swear a whole lot on camera, but we definitely do off
oh
camera.
yeah, off camera is different.
Yeah.
Um
But the fact, like, we see her treat Katniss like shit, and the comment about the brats from the seam and whatever.
right.
But the fact that she sits here and calls her own son
A
a stupid
stupid
creature,
creature.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, like it's valid. Like it's like what kind of person is Mama Mellark? Like I mean like this
Excuse me.
this gives you a glimpse into it. This whole section here kind of gives you a glimpse into it. But
Yeah.
like how do you say that to your child?
Yeah.
Like I understand being mad about burning the bread. That's how you make your livelihood. But to sit there and call your kid a stupid creature because he made a mistake?
He is also only 11.
Yeah, like kids make mistakes. That is going to happen.
Especially 11-year-olds.
Right.
Like, well, like 11 through 13, 11 through 14, lots of mistakes. Just existing is a mistake at that
Right. Yeah,
time.
it feels that
But
way anyway.
but like
Right. But
I
she
cannot
goes on
imagine.
to tell us that he began to tear off chunks from the burned parts and toss them into the trough. And the front of the bakery bell rung, and the mother disappeared to help a customer. By the way, I have to let's take another moment here, right? Is it
Her
at
customer service skills must be god
either
awful.
that or they're impeccable and it's two sides of the same coin? And
Well,
there's no in between.
no,
She's either
she
terrible customer service or
well,
she's got great customer service, and I'm leaning to more
honestly,
towards
she's probably
great
got great customer service
because of how she
because
treats her children.
yeah, I
Yep.
mean, and if she treats PETA this way, how is she treating her husband?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and her other two kids, because PETA is the youngest of three kids.
Yep.
Like, is it just PETA? Does she just like hate him for some reason, or is she
Right.
just abusive to her whole family? And honestly, it's probably that one.
Yeah.
um then it's like, the boy never even glanced my way, but I was watching him because of the bread, because of the red welt that stood out on his cheekbone. What
What
had
had
she
she
hit
hit
him
him
with?
with?
My parents never hit us. I couldn't even imagine it. The boy took one look back at the bakery, as if checking that the coast was clear. Then, his attention back on the pig, he threw a loaf of bread in my direction. The second one quickly followed, and he sloshed back to the bakery, closing the kitchen door tightly behind him. And so, like, I highlighted as if checking that the coast was clear, because it's like, if she was like yelling at Katniss, like looking through her trash,
Mm-hmm.
like PETA, like, giving her this food, like, he definitely would have gotten in trouble for that.
Right. But we go on, let's see here. I stared at the loaves in disbelief. They were fine. Perfect, really. Except for the burned areas. Did he mean for me to have them? He must have. I highlighted that. I'm like, yes, Katniss. That's why he burned the bread,
I'm sorry.
ma'am.
Just the line of, like, they were fine, perfect, really, except for the burned areas. Um, so
It
a
almost
little.
makes it seem like he intentionally burned specific sections of the bread.
Well, no, 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 no. Little lore drop. Our refrigerator is currently not refrigerating. It does not work. It is instead of doing the cold air thing, it is doing the hot air thing. So we are in the process of trying to find a new refrigerator. And for the many listings that I've seen on Marketplace that are like in great condition doesn't cool. It's not in great condition. So it's like, you know, they were perfect except for the burn parts. It's like,
Are they really perfect?
no, no, for her,
Her, yes.
definitely.
In this case
And
of
like,
being
would
starving,
I?
yeah.
And I mean, like, honestly, you hand me some burn bread,
I'll
like,
just scrape off the burn part.
yeah,
Like, and which is actually exactly what goes
you
on to
know,
happen.
bread is bread is bread. I like bread.
Yeah.
But
Katniss, before anybody can see what's going on, Katniss picks up the loaves of bread, tucks them under her shirt, with the heat of the bread burning into her skin, and she clutched them tighter, clinging to life.
yeah,
By the time she made it home, the loaves had cooled some, but were still nice and warm on the inside. When I dropped them on the table, she says, Prim's hands reached to tear off a chunk, but I made her sit. I forced my mother to join us at the table and poured warm tea, scraped off the black stuff, and sliced the bread. We ate an entire loaf, slice by slice. It was good, hearty bread filled with raisins and nuts. And I don't like raisins,
neither
but
do
this
I.
bread
But
sounds so good.
also, I think when you were
Starving to death?
well, yeah, it doesn't fucking matter what it is, you're gonna eat it. Like, um, but yeah. And then she goes on and is like, it didn't occur to me until the next morning that the boy might have burned the bread on purpose, might have dropped the loaves into the flames, knowing it meant being punished, and then delivering them to me.
Yeah. I highlighted that and I was like, yup.
And it's like, but I dismissed this. It must have been an accident. No.
No.
Why would he have done it? He didn't even know me. Still, just throwing me the bread was an enormous kindness that would have surely resulted in a beating if discovered.
And I highlighted that and I wrote above it, yes, it would.
Yeah.
Because,
Um,
like, if his mom is willing to hit him in the face,
for
burning the bread, giving it away, she
yeah.
would have tore him a new one. Guaranteed it. Guaranteed.
Mhm.
They had some bread for breakfast before they headed to school. And it is and this is what this really what makes me think District 12 is somewhere near or in part of the South. Because
Oh,
it was
because
as if spring came overnight.
except for the fact that if it were this far south, we don't have spring.
I mean, we get like a day or two of spring before it gets really hot. But I digress.
We're lucky.
But it was as if spring had come overnight. Warm, sweet air, fluffy clouds. At school, I passed by the boy in the hall. His cheek had swelled up, his eye had blackened. How hard did she hit PETA?
Oh, very hard. But also, I have a question for you.
What's that?
Um, do you not see those tiny little dots on the paper? Those are called periods. That's when you come to a full stop. Because you read that all like it was one sentence, and it in fact was not.
Well, actually, when I'm skimming through it like I was to read it, I don't see the periods.
Imagine that.
Um,
Imagine being able to skim. I don't know if any of you are also like really dyslexic and have the inability to just like skim through a passage, you have to read every single word because otherwise you're gonna mess up all of them. Um, but that's me, and sometimes it's helpful. I
Mm-hmm.
catch, like, if I'm physically reading a book, I will catch every little detail because of that, because I
Right.
can't skip over a single word. Um, but it also means it takes me forever to read anything.
Oh yeah, if I was just reading this chapter by chapter or doing one chapter a week to kind of digest it in a different manner, like to digest it differently, I could read through the entire chapter quickly.
My lord, this is why you're supposed to put your phone on silent. I swear to God.
I'm just gonna throw my phone over here.
Oh, right, because that's gonna stop it from vibrating.
Um, but yeah, I could read through this chapter quickly, but because I'm making notes and going through it, it takes a little longer.
Yeah. Like,
But
poor
let's
Peta, his
see.
face, like, his cheek
Yeah,
had swelled up and his eye black. And it's just like, uh,
he was with his friends and didn't acknowledge me in any way. But I found ooh, but as I collected Prim and started for home that afternoon, I found him staring at me from across the schoolyard. Our eyes met for only a second. Then he turned his head away. I dropped my gaze, embarrassed, and that's when I saw it. The first dandelion of the year. A bell went off in my head, and I thought of the hours I spent in the woods with my father, and I knew we were going to survive.
yeah.
Literally, had it not been for PETA the day before,
Mm-hmm.
Katniss might not have made it to the next morning
Oh,
to
yeah.
realize she could hunt. And
Well, I mean,
for it to click in her head that she could gather stuff and make, she knows what is edible out there, because of her father.
yeah.
Had she not made it through that night, she would have never had this realization.
Yeah.
So Peter really did save her life. To this day, she goes on to say, to this day, I can never shake the connection between this boy, Peter Mellark, and the bread that gave me hope, and the dandelion that reminded me I was not doomed.
And imagine that, going through all of that shit and being like, I can live, and now you have been reaped.
Right. And more
um,
than once I have turned in the school hallways and caught his eyes trained on me, only to quickly flit away. I feel like I owe him something. I hate owing people. Maybe if I had thanked him at some point, I'd be feeling less conflicted now. I thought about it a couple of times, but the opportunity never seemed to present itself, and now it never will. Like, not really.
I mean, yeah, because it's like, because we're going to be thrown into an arena to fight to the death. Exactly how am I supposed to work in a thank you in there? Somehow it won't seem sincere if I'm trying to slit his throat,
which I
which accurate.
which
It
I thought was funny.
Yeah, no, me too, cuz that line always makes me giggle a little. Um and then the mayor finishes, you need to eat, finishes reading the Treaty of Treason and motions for Peeta and Katniss to shake hands, and she says, his are solid and warm as loaves of bread. Peeta looks me right in the eye. Lord, I can't read either apparently.
Yeah.
And gives my hand what I think is meant to be a reassuring squeeze. Maybe it's just a nervous spasm. We turn back to face the crowd as the anthem of Panem plays.
Gem of Panem, mighty city.
Oh well, I think. Sorry, you just made me laugh. Uh, there will be 24 of us. Odds are someone else will kill him before I do. Of course, the odds have not been very dependable of late.
And I highlighted that last thing here. And I said, right you are. Sorta. And this line, and if you've never read these books, and most of the time, most of my interaction was interactions with these books have been via audiobook. I
Yeah.
listen to these more frequently than I read them. But this line here, oh well, I think there will be 24 of us. Odds are someone else will kill him before I do. Are italicized.
Yeah.
And any time lines are italicized in a book like this, it's important.
Yeah.
But you did and
It's like, okay, when is that going to come into play? I mean,
right.
clearly when they're in the arena, but like, how?
Right. So we're
I don't.
definitely gonna come
Uh,
back to this later.
I also just love how Carolyn reads that part. She's just like, oh well, I think. There will be 24 of us. Odds are someone else will kill him before I do.
Right. It's
You
so
know?
matter of factly.
It's just
But
like,
how else are you really supposed to look at this?
playing with your invisible pen again.
I was about to put it in my I almost said my phone. About to put it in my book,
Mm,
but I'm not gonna do that. So
yeah.
that brings us
To the end of this
to
chapter.
the end of chapter 2.
Yeah, like we said, uh, a good majority of this chapter was the boy with the bread story. I'd say like what 2/3 of the chapter
Yeah.
where it was the boy with the bread story.
And this story is super important because the chapter 2 does a lot of setup for the rest of this book, but the rest of the original trilogy as a whole. And we'll get more into that as we go. We'll probably reference back to chapter 2 quite a bit because there's a
Honestly,
lot here. There's a lot here. Um
I mean, and with my tabs, it'll be easy to find.
my
Like
question to
this one says
you.
boy with bread, and this one, which is upside down because I forgot to flip it over to the other side to write when I
Mm.
was writing on my little pad of the tabs, says hey Mitch X3 because that's when he.
Plummets off the stage.
Whee!
Yeah. My question to you,
To me or the audience?
anyone who's willing to answer.
Okay.
So if you have an answer to this question, leave it in the ledgers down below, aka the comment section. Uh, we decided we were going to call it the ledgers because we're doing something based on books, and it seemed to fit.
Yeah, this is the library after all. Uh, keep your voice down.
How long,
Hmm.
honestly, do you think Katniss had left before that interaction with the Melarks that inevitably saved her life?
Um, Probably not very long. I think I think had she like not just like sat there and died, um she probably would have kept on going for as long as she could, but the moment that Prim died of starvation, she would have just let go. She'd be like I have nothing else to live for now.
Right.
Because in her eyes she wouldn't have had anything else to live for. Um
Or do you think she would have noticed that dandelion the next day and still had the same thought, but maybe it would have been a delayed thought?
I mean,
Because
maybe.
the interaction with PETA is really what made her see that dandelion and go, "Oh, wait a minute, I can survive." Now,
Right.
Katniss again is a hunter. That's how she was trained. That's how she was brought up. So she would have thought that eventually.
Right.
But when? How long would it have taken her to get to that point?
I don't know. I honestly think that there is a world where if they did not get that bread that night, that like their whole house just like died in their sleep of starvation.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys think
Yeah. Um
down there.
yeah. Let us know if there's any other things about this chapter that, really stuck out to you.
Or something you thought we missed.
Yeah. Duncan, if you're going to make any references to anything that we have said, please add a timestamp so we know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
Because what was it that he had commented?
He made a comment about the textiles when we were trying to remember
Oh,
like fabrics and shirts and stuff like that.
yeah,
He made a comment about
yeah.
textiles,
We'd
but we
like to be
couldn't.
able to go back and listen to exactly what was going on.
Yeah,
So,
so if you guys have, if any of you guys have comments
yeah.
related to something that we said, leave it with a timestamp so we can go back
And so other
and
people
look at
can.
it.
Um, I was just calling out Duncan specifically
And
because
then
uh, I can.
yeah, make sure you guys like leave comments and like the video. And I hate having to like say that in any way because it sounds grabby, and I don't
Right.
like that.
But I mean, as everyone who is on this platform should know by this time, the more you interact with our videos, the more the algorithm will push it out to other people who, just in general, but especially those who have shown an interest in anything relating to our videos. So the more you interact, the more we can reach the audience that we're trying to reach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, thank you guys so much for watching today.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, please leave them below. If it's a good question or a good comment, maybe we'll read it off at the beginning of next week.
Yeah.
We'll pick one or two maybe
Yeah, write them
and
down or something.
and read them off at the beginning of next week. Or at the beginning of next week's episode, I should
Yeah.
say.
We'll answer them. I was gonna say live and in person, but it will not be live or in person. Not for you. It will be for us,
Yeah.
however. But it'll like we'll write down the question and then we'll like answer it for you. Like we won't like write down our answer and just read it to you.
Yeah, but
Just
we'll answer those questions
have
and
a
we'll pick
conversation
like
about it.
one or two maybe a piece or whatever. We'll figure that out in the
Yeah,
week and
yeah.
then within the next week.
We'll do one apiece if there's enough,
Yeah.
questions that we
Or just
would like
like
to
comments
answer.
slash reviews that really stick out to us or whatever.
Yeah.
And we'll
So
read them off at the beginning of next week's episode.
do that. Show us some love if you love us, or if you like us. You don't have to. I don't know most of you like that. So Duncan though.
But that has been another episode of Deep Dive Library. Please, please, please remember to renew your books on the way out the door, and we will see you back here next week.
Bye.
Bye.